Yo. What's up, NightCap? So, welcome to NightCap. I am one of the hosts, Sharice Nicole, and Dr. Akeem may or may not be joining us, y'all. He has class, so y'all keep him lifted in prayer. He's trying to do some amazing things, but joining us on NightCap tonight, we have Alexis Cheatham. Welcome.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Right.
So listen, tonight's show is power packed. We got 30 minutes to home in on an amazing topic. But first, Lady C on NightCap tonight. So I am not gonna spoil it. I am going to allow her to tell you why she is here.
So I'm here because the people told me that I had to be on here. No. So I wrote my first book. So I'm excited to share the journey of the real with everyone. And I'm an author. So yeah, that's why I'm here. And then we got a really good topic that I'm excited about. I really had to think about that topic too.
Really?
Yeah, I really had.
I've been thinking about it for a while. Oftentimes I think about it, and I don't know if I become frustrated with my generation or if I feel like I'm not doing enough, which is why I'm frustrated. But we're not going to stop there. Before we jump to the topic, we have some things to discuss. You wrote a book. Tell the people how they can purchase your book.
So you can purchase my book on Amazon, Journey of the Real, or you can get the journal as well. All you gotta do is go to Amazon, type in my name in the search, and boom, the journal and the journey will pop up. That is a tongue twister. I don't know why the Lord gave me that, knowing I can't talk for real, because I mess that thing up everywhere I go. Or you can also reach out to me. I do a lot of pop-up shops. Like every weekend, I'm trying to be somewhere or at somebody's church. And I would love to send you a copy of this devotional and journal.
So listen, tell the people how much this book costs and the journal.
All right. So together, because we Black, so we got to do a package deal.
You have to do packages. Mm-hmm. You have to do
together.
Mm-hmm.
The book and the journal is $25 together. Or if you just buy the book, then the book is just $15. Or if you just want the journal, it's just $15. So it's up to you. But I would say get both.
So it's up to you. So guess what, guys? I'm feeling generous tonight. I'm going to purchase 3 of those books. I'm going to give away 2 and keep 1 for myself. So I'm buying the book and the journal. That's $75. I need 2 of you all to share this live. I need 2 of you all to tag someone to get on, tag a millennial and share the live. We're giving away 2 free books. I'm purchasing 3 tonight. It's a book and the journal. The journal of the journey. The journey to the journal.
The journal to the journey that go with the journey.
Journey. Okay, you're going to get 2 of them. You're going to get the book and the journey tonight. So share, tag someone, get them on here. Let's go. Because tonight we're talking about millennials. So I need all of the millennials on tonight. You know someone, tag them, like, share. So, and we'll do the giveaway right before we get off of the live. You need to participate. Like I say, like and share. And I'll give you the book. I'm going to purchase it, and Alexis will get it to you some kind of way. I don't know. That's not for me to figure out. I'm just going to figure that out. We'll figure it out. All right. So the topic tonight is, what do millennials owe their community and their church?
Whew. Child, this was I feel where you are because I'm on both sides of it.
Yes.
So when I really thought about this, so let me go back. I asked my Instagram followers, somebody answered.
Okay.
They said a lot of suffering from past church hurt and have given up. I think they was answering from the side of like, what does the church owe millennials?
Okay.
But I am on both sides of it because I'll start with us. I feel like millennials, we owe the church consistency right now. Because when you really look at one of the biggest I guess you would say, arguments or complaints from millennials has been that the church as a whole, like no particular church, but just the church, like church in general, has not catered to millennials, right? I would say now I don't really feel like that's a fair argument because the pandemic has forced everyone to be like super creative.
Right.
And super young adultish.
Okay.
For example, like most pastors are not just preaching now. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, we had people preaching on ceilings and floaties.
And they were coming out floating on the water
in a wave pool.
In the wave pool.
In the club. Like I saw a preacher dressed up and he was preaching about something, fixing something. He was like in a car shop. Like the creativity has just gone insane. And really that level of creativity is more so geared towards millennials.
Right.
Everybody had to figure out how to do church differently, and it really worked out in our favor.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult when we say like, oh, the church is not catering to us. Yes, there are some that are still stuck. Right. But for the most part, if you get on Facebook, everybody is trying to be influencers. They're trying to brand, they're trying to market and cater to the millennial age. But we're not consistent. Like we'll be upset and we'll say, oh, y'all not giving us this and y'all not giving us that. And so now it's kind of like, well, the people kind of giving it to us now. So what, where you at? Like,
where are you? Yes.
I think that we really owe the church our consistency. Because like, even though our parents and our grandparents they did things differently. One thing that we can't say is that they were very, very consistent.
Yes.
And very, very like consistent and loyal to their church, like super consistent. Right. So I think in terms of the church, we really got to give the church more of our consistency because a lot of the things that upset us as a generation or that we complain about or that we don't like, it could be changed if we were consistent enough to be in more leadership areas. Right. Because we can't really be trusted all the way.
Well, not in that. I don't know that there's a level of motivation nor dedication coupled with a sense of accountability.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that our generation was forced to be accountable in church. I can speak for myself. Oftentimes we were there, we had to pay attention, we had to be involved. But there was no sense of accountability. Most of the time when we got home, we did not talk about what was preached.
Yeah, we were just there because
we were just there. We were right. And so a lot of us go because it became habit. It became a religious behavior.
Yeah.
But the power that was needed to sustain us and convict us some kind of way fell by the wayside. And so oftentimes we're not doing what we need to do to continue to grow the church to impact the community.
Yeah, because I was doing something one day and I really had this thought of the fact that honestly, the church has to look at itself more than just like the building where we all come together and we shout and we fall out and we get our healing. We have to see it as like, this is a resource in the community.
Right.
This is where like, I know, I remember one time, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, I was in a conversation and someone was telling me about a church where back in the day, that's where everybody went to learn how to read. Like the church is a resource in the community. Like it's a course. So the church is where we are literally supposed to go. If there's anything that we're in need of in the community, the church is supposed to have it.
Right.
If that makes sense. Because that's what it used to be. It used to be the place where the community would come. So it's just like now with millennials, I can say, even with myself, like I can say as a generation, we have done more pouring into the community and not pouring into our churches.
Yes.
But it's just kind of like
what
our
has
church.
caused that? Like what do you think has caused us to give more to causes outside of the church than to give inside of the church?
I think it's a host of different things. Like some of it is some of it is on the church, and I hate to take that route because that's the typical things that millennials say, but some of it is on the church where one thing that I've noticed just working in this area is that millennials give and do things for causes.
Right.
So if you're at a church that's not doing anything in the community, but you want me to like give my money all the time, or the big thing that I've seen a lot of millennials that are not in church complain about on Facebook is the pastor wearing this and the pastor stealing the money. And there are places where that's true. Now, all these places that everybody talking about is not true.
Right.
But there are places where things like that have happened. So it's kind of taking our trust out of the church because it's just like, no, because they just gonna get up, they're gonna beg for my money, and then I'm not gonna see anything done with it. So it's just like I just want to take everything that God has given me from the place where God gave it to be used, and I'm gonna do it over here. Cause I don't have time to deal with church people. I don't have time to deal with the politics of church. And then I gotta fight 15 people just to do something in the church. So I'm not doing it. And so it's just like by the time you even get the strength to want to do it, you're just like, I'll just go over here and do it. Because I know I'll be able to do it. And then is that accountability on our end. We don't want nobody to tell us.
We don't want you to tell us nothing now. We know we know it all.
We want to still be able to do what we want to do. Yeah. We want to be able to, skip church for 3 months, go to brunch, and then come back and leave. Like we still want to be able to do it.
Sunday fun day. Yeah.
We don't want that accountability. So it's half of it is on the church, but the other half of it is on us as a generation. We don't want nobody telling us what to do.
I find it interesting that you say that because certain churches struggle with that dynamic, but you have new millennial churches, new millennial preachers that are not struggling to maintain their millennial base. Prime example, you have your Sarah Jakes, your Michael Todds. You have those churches where millennials flock to those churches and they're doing what they need to do to make the community better, to buy a building cash, to not only do that, but you don't hear them talk about, oh, Michael Todd got up there and wore Balenciaga, because he does. He gets up there, he wears Balenciaga. He pulls up in a sports car. And it's on his Instagram, but you don't hear that coming from those, from the millennials at his church. I wonder why is that? What shift do you believe that there's a shift that's taking place with some of us that we're starting to get it?
I really do think that, and I think it is because of like those younger leaders that have kind of made it cool to be a Christian again. Like you were just talking about Michael Todd. Michael Todd has members in Jacksonville. Michael Todd got members in Orlando.
In Europe.
I just met somebody that was telling me like, oh, I go to Transformation Church. And I was like,
but isn't that
what?
Yeah.
And it's really because they've really, number one, they've learned how to just reach our generation. Like they really have, they put real work into it.
And resources.
Yeah, like they've really learned how to just reach our generation. And they've really made Jesus like this cool thing, and they brought it all the way down so that if you're watching them for the first time, or if you're watching them as a seasoned Christian or whatever, like you can relate in any way. And it's kind of like, it's so weird because I literally watch all of the stuff that they're doing on Instagram, and it's just like, this is great. Like this man just bought a office building, like for his staff. That's crazy.
Right.
And the church people, his millennials, are the ones paying their tithe so all this stuff can happen.
Right.
Like they're the ones. And so I think I think it's coming around. I just think that there's still a sector of, and I hate to say this, but I gotta say it, there's still a sector of us Black church kids,
yes,
that all we did was go to the convention and go to AIM, and we ain't learned nothing for real in life, and
right.
church was all we knew, but like our home life was like jacked up, but we was getting beat to be at that church.
Right.
It's that type of mindset. Though we complained about our parents having it, it's that mindset that there's a group of millennials that still have it even now, and they don't even really realize that's what they have. Right. And so it's kind of like you can't really get anywhere where church is like you said, it's just a hobby. I mean, I'm used to going to church on Sunday, so that's what I do. And then when I leave my church, I go and I work at somebody else's church, and then because that's what I do. I got used to just being in church all day, so I just do that just to do it.
Just to do it. Right. I think that one of the things that we can do, what do you feel as a millennial that's thriving, that loves God, that's a tither, that's giving, that's doing work in the community to impact the church, to bring change, being a change agent? What do you think are some of the things that we can do to help foster or ignite that fire in young adults that are struggling to come along to be the change agent?
I think what we have to do is, instead of trying to just reinvent the wheel, like go back to that stuff that worked for us, if that makes sense. Right. Like, and keep it relatable. I mean, that's really all everybody's looking for, is something that's relatable and something that they're going to be able to build like authentic, genuine relationship with.
Right.
And so just keeping that, making Jesus relatable. That's really how I even got to the point of like writing my book, because I was just like, okay, I have seniors that I teach in high school every single day, and we always get on the topic of God. I've dealt with a lot of millennials, college age. I'm a millennial, and one thing that's very difficult for us, and one thing that we do, is we overcomplicate God. And so it's just like it gets very, very confusing. We overcomplicate him, and it just it gets so confusing. Like we make him like this over the top thing that it's just like, no, simplify him. He was a relational young adult. That's really what he was.
He really was. Because he died at 33. Was it ministry started at 33?
What was it?
What was it?
The pastor behind the
pastor was it 33, and then it was like a year of ministry, 2 years?
So he walked there for 33 and a half years.
33 and a half.
33 and a half. So yes, he was almost an ex-centennial.
I had to ask my camera crew back here.
You have to ask your camera crew. Ask the pastor here. So yes, he was a relatable. That is good. He was a relatable millennial.
Yeah, and so it's just like we gotta get back, because millennials like anything that looks like a cause, and so a lot of these churches, we gotta really look at what they're actually doing. Like I keep using Michael Todd, but like Michael Todd gives away millions of dollars like all the time, and not saying that anybody needs to do that or that's what you got to do, but you got to be realistic about millennials. Want to see you giving. They want to see you.
They want to see you pray for what you're preaching.
They want to see all of that. Like they don't want to see you saying you need to give, and then when it's time for the giveaway, you up in your office telling us how beautiful the giveaway was. Like, no, they want to see you down with the giveaway. Right. So it's just like millennials are now looking for, everybody is running around, and we were saying it a while ago, but it's real now, because now we actually have options.
Wow.
Like, before
you can sit home in your house and you can join a church.
I'm talking about be a faithful member on your
faithful member. Yeah. Can they get together in groups and put the church on the screen, notebook, get up, worship, participate, everything. Yeah.
Like we have options. And I think that's what, even though the church is not supposed to be like the world, we also have to realize now there are so many options in the world. The church has to like overly step it up but keep the same message, because the message is not going to change.
Yeah, God's word doesn't change.
Yeah, like, but just step it up in terms of
innovativeness and creativeness,
and those relationships. Like, those relationships are so key, because that's what millennials need. It's great for one person to have to build those relationships, but it really does take, like, for people to see multiple people trying to build relationships with them, and then they're just like, oh, okay, like, y'all actually do care for me. And wow. I've really learned that from working with my students. Like, these seniors that I work with that are stepping into young adult life, they're so needy. Like, they're needy in so many ways, and so all they want is relationship. Because it's really a bunch of now 17 and 18-year-olds that were traumatized as little kids. So they're needy. So a lot of millennials are very, very needy. They want relationship. And so that's really what I think, that those that are like game changers as millennials in the church focus more so on building those relationships and that innovation. That's really what bridges that gap.
What's going to bridge the gap between the church, millennials? Oftentimes, and those of you that's watching, I want you to, here's your participation. Put into the chat what you feel millennials can do to give back to their community and their church. We want to see, we want to know what you think. If you're a millennial, even if you're not a millennial, you can still win one of these 2 books. I'm getting these 2 books and Journey to the Journey that I'm giving away. 2 of those. So listen, tell us, what do you think? What do you think we can do better, or what we're not doing that can contribute to Courtney Matthews want that book, that can contribute to the community and the church? Okay, put it in the comments. We want to know what you think. So I believe that millennials are categorized, right? I remember when I took on the role of being one of the young adult leaders at St. Paul, one of the things I wanted to know was, what is my targeted group? What is my targeted audience? And it is 18 to 39. That is a millennial. So it is what it is. But there's a group, exennials, that is between the age of 35 and 39. They're still millennials, but they're considered exennials because they're a cross between Gen X and millennials. And I believe that middle group, we have an obligation to help. This is how we can give back to our church and our community, because we were 20, we were early 30s, we're now mid and late 30s, and we should know firsthand the goodness of God, his preservation, his protection, his presence. We know those things firsthand. They're undeniable. If you're still on this earth, you know that everything that you have, you did not do it by yourself. It was all orchestrated by God. You cannot deny the power of who God is. In your mind, you can, but you just can't. So we have an obligation to teach that younger generation, that younger part of millennials, and to teach them and hold them accountable to want to be the up and coming leaders of the church. Does that make sense?
That make a whole lot of sense.
Because we're merging into that leadership role, but then it's our responsibility to practice what we preach, allow them to see that being faithful does get you the prize. Oftentimes they get weary in their well-doing. They just kind of give up and give in to the woes of the world, but kind of, staying faithful, staying put, staying planted, you will come out victorious doing those things. And I think we owe it to them to show them in our walk, in our behavior, in our actions. We owe it to them. Okay. Let me see. Tazaria Merchant says, well, I tend to share my personal life stories with my younger sisters and brothers in Christ, just so they know that they aren't alone, and to let them know the path that I've went down and how to avoid it. So you would say by sharing your life story is a way that we can give back to our church and our community. That's good. Thank you, Miss Merchant. Breeze, I mentioned it on IG, but a chance both ways. The church allowing millennials to literally come as they are and meet them where they are to understand the bigger picture. And the other way with millennials overcoming their past church hurt or whatever it is that is keeping them away.
And that is Sus. I don't know who Sus Breeze is. I can't see, but that's it right there. that's so true because really millennials really are, a lot of millennials at this point are using church hurt as like the reason, but it's just like at this point you've been church hurt for at least 5 to 7 years.
At what point are you going to get over it? Because you'll forgive that boyfriend and get back with him. You'll forgive that girlfriend and get back with them. You'll forgive your job, your boss at your job, to go to work and get that check to pay your bills. And while paying your bills are important, operating in your faith and your purpose is as equally as important when the rubber meets the road.
Correct. And that's really where a lot of the hurt comes from with millennials. Like, it's like, well, I have all these gifts and talents. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm church hurt. So I'm going to just do it for my job and I'm going to give them my all, but I don't have time to do it for the church or assist with the church in any type of way. Or even, I won't even just say just the church, but just give it back to God by doing it in his kingdom or in a way where he gets the glory in terms of a spiritual matter.
Wow,
like
that's good.
It's just like God gave you the gift, but you gonna take it and utilize it at
Crispies. I don't know.
at Burger King, at Chick-fil-A. That's it. And it's not saying that God can't get glory out of you in the marketplace.
Right.
It's just, I do think that if you are committed to a church or whatever, that I do think that it's just right that you give what God gave you back into where he's placed you. It just, it just makes sense. Like it just makes sense. So that church hurt thing, I mean, it's holding us back from singing in the choir. It's holding us back from ushering. We can't even do the simple church stuff.
We can't even do the simple church stuff because of church hurt. And really, it is an excuse just to say you don't want to come.
Yeah.
But listen, we're going to pick up more with what millennials owe the church and their community. Okay. So Alexis is going to come back. We're going to do a part 2 because this is just not enough time. And we're going to add some more millennials. And we would love to add some Xennials and probably 1 or 2 Gen X so we can have the conversation. I think it needs to be had. In the meantime, we want to thank you for watching. Okay. Thank you all for participating. I want to read this one thing before we head out because we literally have 30 seconds. Consistency and dependability is definitely needed for millennials, but it would be great if millennials would try not to avoid talking to older generations. A lot of us don't know how to effectively interact with millennials. This platform is a great example, but it should be more prevalent worldwide. True, Miss Wright. That is absolutely true. That is good. Listen, drum roll. Matthews, I like the fact that you put those parts in there. Miss Courtney, I got a book coming your way. And Miss Breeze, I appreciate that you participated. You gave us a great insight. So Miss Matthew and Miss Breeze, you two are the winners. Please inbox me at Sharice Nicole or Alexis Cheatham to make sure we get those books to you. In the meantime, guys, this has been NightCap. We appreciate you. Alexis, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Go and purchase her book. Purchase. You can find her on Amazon. What's the name of the book again?
Journey of the Real and Journal for the Real.
Journey to the Real. Get the book of the journey. Type Alexis Cheatham. Get the book. Y'all, see y'all next Wednesday at 9:30. Thank you, Miss Cheatham.
Thank you.
Deuces.